weekend, and the weather treated you okay. This is the Monday morning call, which is the excellent time for you to tell us what's going well, what's going poorly. Everybody can benefit if you've had stumbling blocks, because we can talk about those and fix them not only for you but for everybody else, or everybody can benefit from the success that you've been having so that they know that they can do it as well. So if you have those things, please either raise your hand. I see a few of you are on the phone. Thank you very much, because then we can open up those lines and actually talk to you. We'd love to do that if you'd want to do that. Or you can type the stuff in the chat box and we'll address it that way. So Missy, if you could look for those, and then as I kind of move forward here. So
sure will.
Thank you so much again, once again, for being on the call last Wednesday. Huge call, huge tools that are now in your possession. Guys, these are the tools that I used to make $1 million, and it's actually even better than it was before. I taught 12 guys to use the same tool to make over $1 million. I taught over 150 other guys to triple their business using these tools, but the tool's even better and the product's even better. So, in fact, a lot of you jumped on board. In fact, just between Wednesday and Friday of last week, we had 5 big cases written with that product. So, I mean, you guys really have to jump on this product like these other guys have, and clients, all 5, the clients just said, yeah, let's do it. So 5 for 5. First 5 times it was shown, 5 sales. So please, guys, let's get moving on that and get your Equitrust contracts and your Sagicor contracts into your 5Q specialist so you can start selling this stuff, because it's a fantastic presentation for a fantastic product, and the client just buys it. You don't even have to sell it. So enough said on that. My pointer for this week is Consumer Reports just came out with a article in which they tagged variable annuities as the Mr. Hyde of the investment world. And if you know your Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll was the nice guy and Mr. Hyde was the not so nice guy. And here's why they say this, is they said fees. See, and they were giving fees, they were assigning fees to variable annuities at a 4% rate, internal rate of charge. So they said variable annuities on average have 4% internal fees, and they're not even including turnover, guys, and turnover easily is a 1 or 2% fee on top of that. So this is a great article if you're moving variable annuities into the Equitrust or the Sagicor in case you would need it. So and if you want access to that, you can email support@5qgroup.com, and Tricia will let you know how to get that article. But guys, with the Equitrust and the Sagicor, there is zero, none, not a zippo reason to have your clients' monies in VAs. They should be over to the Sagicor or the Equitrust product. It's far better. And don't believe me. Don't believe me. Just walk your client through the presentation. They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that. Okay? So, are any questions, concerns, Missy, that come up that I can address before I go on to our actual presentation?
Nope. So far, so good.
Okay. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the beginning of the end. What do I mean by that? Well, the end of the first meeting. So I want to talk about there's actually 3 mini scripts at the end of the first meeting. The first one is called if I can get it here, the loyalty versus unconditional love. So we actually have 3, here's our first meeting, and then we have 3 meetings. We have loyalty, or 3 little mini meetings inside it at the end. Loyalty versus unconditional love, which you see the big arrow pointing at, the fair versus unfair, and then the little secret. So that's why I say this is the beginning of the end. So why do we have to do this at the first meeting? Why do we have these 3 mini meetings at the end of the first meetings? Here's why. I've been coaching I've been doing this since 1989, and for the first 8 years in my practice, this is exactly what I did. I said, hey, how would you like me to do a free analysis for you, a second opinion for you? And of course, what did the client say? Awesome, sure. Why wouldn't they? I mean, a free second opinion, a free analysis, what are they out? Worst case scenarios, they find a couple of things that they can, take back to their advisor and do. But see, what I thought is if I did a second opinion or a free analysis, I was going to show them how much of an expert I was, how smart I was, how great my solutions were, how great I was at finding things that they were doing wrong. Yeah, and I did all those things. I came up with great solutions. I showed them all the things they were doing wrong. And what did they do with that information? They took it back to their guy. Now, when they took it back to the guy, guess what I did? I got upset. I'm saying, listen, I did all this work, and you're taking it back to the guy? And what did they say, guys? So I want to see some comments on this. What did they say? When I said, hey, I did all this work for you, and then you're just taking this back to your guy? I mean, what's the deal here? That's right, Dale. We owe you nothing. That's exactly what they said. They said, we owe you nothing. So, and not only that, Dale, guess what? When I acted that way, how did they feel? How did they treat me, Dale? When I acted like, geez, you know, you're really taking it to me here. I did all this work, and then you take this information back to yeah, you volunteered to do it. Exactly, Andy. You volunteered to do it, so what are you getting upset about? In fact, I looked like what? I looked like I was dishonest because I said, hey, this is a free, no obligation, second opinion, and then all of a sudden I act like they're obligated to work with me. So I need to quit doing that. Dale DeRicker said, yeah, it looked like a car salesman. Exactly right. So I need to quit doing that. So what I did is I said, you know, I have to have them see themselves leaving their advisor at the end of that meeting. Because when I was saying, hey, would you like to do a free analysis? Would you like a free second opinion? Guess what they had going on in their head? What did they see going on in their head? Well, they saw me working, doing a free analysis, a free second opinion, giving it to them, and that's all they saw. That's all they saw in their head. So all this, when I said, okay, now I've done this, you should leave your guy, they're like, whoa, 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 where'd that come from? That came out from left field. No, 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 no. I need, at the end before the end of the first meeting, for them to actually see themselves leaving their guy. And we've talked about this before. Can people, Jeff Free is saying that they're getting electronic noise. Is there problems with everybody else, or are you hearing me okay, Missy?
No, everything sounds okay on this. I was just actually typing back to him. If you're getting that, maybe try toggling from your mic and speakers to telephone and then right back to mic and speakers. Sometimes it's just kind of stuck. Your little connection might be stuck in kind of limbo land. So just toggle it from mic and speakers to telephone and then back again to mic and speakers.
Yeah, I'm getting everybody else saying it's great on their end. So, okay, good. Thank you. So when I've talked about this before, but they've done studies to find out how much the mind differs between actually doing something and imagining it. So the example I always use, and again, this has been tested over and over and over again, is the free throws. There are three groups of people. One, they did not let practice in any way, practicing free throws for a month. Another one, they had practicing an hour a day in their head for a month. Another group, they had actually on the court, practicing on the court for a month. And guess what they found out? The people who did not practice had no improvement whatsoever. But the people that practiced in their head versus the people that practiced in the court were a statistical even Steven. They both improved, I forget how much, like 18% or something. But there was no difference between practicing in their head and practicing on the actual court. So what we need to do is have them, what that's showing us is the mind can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. So what we want them to do before they leave this first meeting is actually visualize leaving their guy and not throwing up. Okay? So 3 steps to creating that vision of them leaving their guy. The first one is loyalty versus unconditional love. The second is the fair versus unfair script. And then the third, the little secret, is basically saying, okay, you told me don't unconditionally love the guy. You told me it would be unfair to you and yourself to take my information back to the other guy. So are you or are you not going, the little secret is, are you or are you not going to become a client of mine if that's the case? And if they block, and again, we say 50% of the people either block or don't have enough money, and those people we send home and drip on them. And 50% will say, well, yeah, if you can do these things, then we will. That's it. So in their mind, they've said, when they say, yes, if you can do these things, we'll go ahead and move at the little secret close. That means in their mind, they visualized leaving their guy, and they thought, what? Yeah, I mean, I guess I would leave my guy if he wasn't doing his job. I guess I would leave my guy if there was a better, and that's what we want them leaving. And the loyalty versus unconditional love script is the first step to doing that. Okay? So here's the outline for the loyalty versus unconditional love. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to tell them, hey, you should stay with your guy. We're going to compliment them on being loyal, and we're going to tell them they should stay with their guy. And the reason, why are we doing that, guys? Why are we telling them that they should stay with their guy? Why do you think that's the first step? Well, you know what? Don't tell me yet, but think about that. I'm going to ask you that in a second as we delve into each of these steps a little bit more carefully. Then we're going to go into the first example of docs. Then we're going to talk about loyalty being a two-way street. Then we're going to go a second example with friends. Then we're going to go into a third example with spouse. Guys, what am I doing here? Why am I talking about doctors, friends, and spouses? So let's get some answers on this. Why am I talking about walking them through little scenarios and vignettes of doctors and friends and spouses? Different relationships. Yep, Rick. They can relate. Absolutely, Andy. And what are these not talking about? People they don't want to leave. Absolutely, getting on the site. So all those things are right. And see, this is a technique I use throughout the system where I talk about all these things that these guys have been typing in. Absolutely, they're different relationships and things they can relate to. Absolutely, and they're things that are non-financial. See, I want them to, I always start talking about non-financial way we deal with non-financial problems in life. So that if they say, yeah, that's the way we in general deal with things, when we then get to the fact that that's the general way we deal with things, we also deal with them that way with financial, they can't disagree with that. But if I just jump into the financial, what's our knee-jerk reaction going to be? To defend or make excuses or get in the way of the point we're trying to make. So I always start with non-financial things and then move to the financial. I get their agreement on the non-financial things, then get their agreement on the financial. Over and over and over. So this is a great example of that. Then the next step is we talk about the only people we unconditionally love is our kids, because we don't unconditionally love our professionals unless they're our kids. And then we ask them the big question and then the summary. So let's walk through each of these parts of the script. Now the script and the audio are on the website under Loyalty versus Unconditional Love in the agreement meeting. So you go to the agreement meeting and then you'll see that this actually broken down. But I want to kind of do a surgery on it for everybody to get a minute view of the little tiny things that we're doing to make this work. So the first thing, as I said, as we talked about, they should be loyal to their advisor. Now that seems, I mean, a lot of advisors that I work with at first are a little uncomfortable with this. I actually would tell them that, hey, you should, you've been with your guy a long time. So Jeff, maybe you can role play with you a little bit here. We'll wait for Jeff
to
I'm here. Mute himself. Okay. So Jeff, you've been with your advisor how long?
We've been with him probably 10 years now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good long time. You got to know him. He knows you. I mean, there's a lot of trust been built there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're loyal to him.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, I mean, and you should be. I mean, after 10 years of good service, I mean, if you weren't loyal to him, what kind of person would you be?
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of person would you be? A good person?
No, we wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, we want to. He's done good. He's been good to us, so we want to, be good to him.
Yeah, and that's the way you should be. And really, that's the kind of feeling I've got about you here. The time we spent together, this brief time we spent together, is that you're good, decent people. You're loyal people. If people treat you right, you treat them right. And I mean, if you weren't that kind of person, I mean, I wouldn't want to be talking to you anyway. So it's great that you're loyal to your guy. So now out of role play, what am I doing there, guys? Seems to me like I'm actually squirreling the deal, right? Yeah, I'm getting on their side, Dale. Exactly, I'm getting on their side. Why is that so important? Because if I just jump in and start attacking their guy, when I get on their side, Dale, what am I actually doing? What's happening to our relationship? What's happening in Jeff's brain when I'm getting on their side? You're like us? Absolutely right, Dale. Absolutely right. You're like us. What else? And Dale Taylor, you bring up a great point. You're like us, meaning that, hey, the same concerns that you have, I have. Wow, you're worried about the same things that I'm worried about. So that's a great thing to get on their side. Lower their defenses, RC says. Exactly right. Building trust, Bill says. Yep. So that's what we're doing. We're saying, hey, I'm not going to try to tell you shouldn't be loyal to the guy, because I start running in and start to preach at them why they shouldn't be loyal to the guy. They're not going to trust me. So that's the first thing we do to build trust and lower their defenses. Then the next thing I do is that I go, so yeah, Jeff, I mean, for example, let's say that you've worked with your doctor for the last 20 years and he's delivered your babies. He's been there when people have been sick. He's been there for you. Should you be loyal to your doctor?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course you should be. And well, and what if some other doctor, new fancy schmancy doctor comes into town and says he's got all these new machines to take tests with, and he's got all the new solutions, and he's got all the new gizmos. Should you move over to that doctor?
No, I mean, we really don't care about stuff like that.
No. And even if you did care about it, that kind of stuff, should you move to him?
No, I mean, not unless, we don't have any reason to do it.
Well, what would it be? I mean, what would all your friends and neighbors and just people think about you if your doctor had worked with you for 20 years? He delivered your babies. He's always there to take care of you, there during sickness and health, and and he bends over backwards to help you out, and then some new guys moves into town, and then you willy-nilly move to him.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't be impressed.
No, because what kind of person would do that?
Yeah, somebody who, yeah, I don't even know.
I mean, somebody who just willy-nilly moved to after somebody's done a great job for them, just move to another person just because it's a new thing, just to try it out.
Yeah, I mean, no reason. Yeah, exactly.
So when it comes to our health, would that be a smart move to just willy-nilly move away from somebody who's been taking a good care of us over to somebody else?
No.
That'd be silly, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, guys, here, what am I setting up, guys? Basically, what am I talking about? The doctor's taking good care of you. He's been with you for years. He's always been there to help you when you needed help. Who am I talking about? Am I talking about the doctor? Who am I talking about, guys? Am I really talking about the doctor? Who am I talking about? Talking about the relationship with who? Their current advisor. Exactly, Bill. So I'm saying that this is parallel to your advisor. Hey, if they just left their advisor willy-nilly to try somebody else, that'd be crazy. If their guy's been taking care of them, they should stay with him. I mean, going through all of that. So, but now I'm going to paint a little different scenario. So, Jeff, let me ask you a question, though. Let's say that you actually had found out, though, that you've been being charged to be on a medication $500 a month. Is $500 a month a lot to be paying?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So you find out you've been being charged $500 a month, and then you find out that you really didn't even need it. Now what are you starting to think?
Well, now I'm wondering if if he's really doing that good a job.
Yeah, you wonder if he's doing that good a job, right? So then you poke around a little more, and then you find out, your doctor is actually the CEO of the company that sells that pharmaceutical, that drug. Now what are you thinking?
Well, now I'm thinking we need to change doctors.
Right. Because when he's taking care of you, that's fantastic. But when you find out that he's putting whose concerns before your own,
Well, he's putting his concerns ahead of ours.
then you're going to do what?
Well, then we're going to find another doctor.
Yeah. Even though you've been with him for 20 years, even though he's delivered your babies, even though he's been there during the hard times and the good times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were loyal to your doctor, but you expect him to be what?
Well, we expect him to be loyal back.
Right. Because loyalty is a one-way street?
No, it's a two-way street.
Yeah, loyalty is a two-way street. So if he was doing a great job for you and putting his concerns before yours, you're going to put your concerns before his. But when you find out he's putting his concerns before yours, what are you going to do?
Well, then we're gonna move.
Yeah, with guilt or no guilt?
No, we're not going to feel guilty at all.
Yeah, because loyalty is not a one-way street. It's a what?
It's a two-way street.
Yeah. So actually, I jumped into the next thing, because loyalty is a two-way street. So now we've got some thinking, well, I'm going to stay with my doctor as long as he's doing a good job, but if he's not, I'm going to leave and not feel guilty about it. Again, who are we talking about? Not the doctor. We're talking about the advisor. We're having him think about that. So his loyalty is a two-way street. So now I'm not going to be satisfied and jump into advisors. I'm going to do it again. I mean, even when it comes down to our friends, Jeff. I mean, we're loyal to our friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and many of our friends we've been with for years and years and years, even decades, right?
Right.
And, they're who we turn to when the chips are down, right?
Right.
And they're who we turn to have fun, to spend time with. They're who we turn to leave our kids with. Or, we probably have a lot of them taking care of our kids in the will. We've left our kids with them for the weekend. And our kids are more special than anything, right? So do we trust our friends?
Yeah, definitely we trust them.
Yeah, and we're loyal to them. But
Yeah,
but then they expect us to be what? Or we expect them to be what?
Yeah, they expect us to be loyal back.
Yeah, they expect us to be loyal back. So let's say that our friend, we find out that my friend, I've taken him to the airport, driven him to the airport 15 times. Is driving somebody to the airport a fun thing or a real pain in the behind?
No, it's a pain.
So I find out that, I've driven him to the airport 15 times. I ask him one time, and he says he can't because he has to watch the football game. What am I thinking?
Well, no, he's not. He's not being a very good friend.
Not being a very good friend. I maybe won't divorce him, but is he high on my adore list at this point, or higher on some kind of other kind of list?
No, you're not happy.
No, not happy. But then I also find out that I didn't I had a big dent put in my rear fender, and I didn't, I just thought it happened in a parking lot or whatever. I was a little perturbed because it ended up being like a $3,000 it's in damage, and I find out from another friend, guess who put that dent in my car?
One of your other friends?
No, yeah. That friend that wouldn't take me to the airport. And then I go into the garage and I find out, hey, my snowblower is gone. And I go to my wife and say, where's the snowblower? And she goes, oh, your friend took that. Came over and borrowed it while you were at work one day. So I call him up and say, dude, I need my snowblower. I'm going to be out of town here, and I need my snowblower for my wife to do that. Well, it's broken. I borrowed it and broken. Well, then you need to get me a new snowblower. I mean, what are you going to do about that? Well, I mean, it's a pretty crappy snowblower to begin with, so don't blame me for being. Now what's happened to my friendship? Is that how somebody who's loyal to me treats me?
No, not at all.
So when it comes to friendship, is loyalty one-way or two-way?
No, it's two-way.
Or am I going to say to that friend, you know what, I know he's treating me like crap, but I'm going to be loyal to him because that's the person I am. Is that what I'm going to do?
No. No, I mean, if he's going to act like that, no, you're not going to be a friend.
No, I mean, how many people would?
No, nobody really.
No, nobody. So even with friends, I mean, loyalty is one-way, or is it what?
No, it's two-way.
Two-way. I mean, even in the United States with our spouses, I mean, we're loyal to our spouses as long as our spouses are what?
Well, as long as they're loyal to us.
Okay, now I'm going to step out of role play here a second, guys. When we're talking about spouses, should I ever say, hey, Jeff, you're loyal to your spouse as long as, she's loyal to you? Should I be talking about them? Or did you notice what I said? I said in the United States, when it comes to spouses, okay, why do you think I was talking about the United States and when it comes to spouses, we versus, hey, Jeff, when it comes to you and your spouse? Why do you think we do that? This is another little thing that we do with all the 5Q system. Anytime we're talking about bad things, who do we say the bad things are happening to? Do we ever put the client in the example of bad things happening? Never, never, never. For all I know, they're having marital problems. For all I know, they had marital problems last year. For all I know, so we're not going to put them in that situation. Because if I put them in the situation, they're going to start, they get distracted. They're going to start saying all sorts of things I don't want them to say or think about, all sorts of things I don't want them to think about. So when it comes to negative things such as divorcing your spouse, I say, and for example, Jeff, in the United States, when we don't trust our spouse and we're not loyal to our spouse, what do we tend to do?
We get a divorce.
We get a divorce. So even, when it came to our doctors, with our friends, with our spouses, we're loyal to them as long as they're what?
As long as they're loyal to us.
But if they're not loyal to us, what do we do?
Well, then we move on.
Yeah, we move on. But there's really only one type of relationship that I know that's not the case with. There's a relationship that no matter what they do, they can borrow large amounts of money from us and don't pay it back. They can say they're going to pick us up at the airport and forget to pick us up. They can say bad things about us. They can say they're going to take care of our house, and then our house basement floods, and we don't know about it until we get back from vacation. They can do all sorts of things, and we still love them. Who is that?
Well, our kids.
It's our kids. It's our kids, and we call that love. What kind of love do we call that?
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. No matter what they do, we still love them, right?
Right.
So the question I have for you is I understand that you're loyal to your advisor as well. You should be. But do you unconditionally love him?
Well, no. We don't love him. We're with him because we like him and he's doing a good job. But no, we don't. We're not bound to him in any way.
So guys, here's what starts to happen in Jeff's head. Now, and I always do it this way. I never say, hey, do you unconditionally love your guy or are you loyal to him? If I say that, what are they going to say? No, I'm just loyal to him. That does not help me. So I always say, are you loyal to him first? I say loyal first. Are you loyal to him or do you unconditionally love him? When I do it that way, then see if I say, do you unconditionally love him or are you loyal to him, they'll address loyalty. They'll address the last thing that you say. So if I say, do you unconditionally love him or are you loyal to him, they'll address the loyalty. I don't want them to address the loyalty. I want them to tell me they don't unconditionally love the guy and then explain to me why they don't. So when I said to Jeff, I said, so I understand why you unconditionally, I understand why you're loyal to your advisors. Well, you should be. But, the loyalty thing I get, but do you unconditionally love him? And when I do that, they'll obviously, well, no, I don't unconditionally love him. I think he's doing a good job, but I don't love him. If he wasn't doing a good job, then no. We'd leave him. We're not bound to him. So I think he's doing a good job, but if he's not, No, we'll leave him. So now what's happened in their head when they start, see guys, are they talking to me at that point, or are they talking to themselves? Are they talking to me, or are they talking to themselves? They're actually talking to themselves. They're explaining to themselves why they will leave their guy. Now, how good is that? Because remember, this is the first 1 hour meeting. We're about 50 minutes in, and they're explaining to themselves why they'll leave their guy. Is that better or worse than me trying to tell them that they should leave their guy? If they explain to me why they'll leave their guy, is that better, or should I be telling them why they should leave their guy? It's way better. A little better or way better? It's way better. So that's the first step that we go through. We have them tell us why they don't unconditionally love their guy, and they'll start to explain to you why. And they'll still throw in there that, hey, I don't think he's doing anything wrong. He's done a good job for us. But no, that's okay if they throw that in there. Because here's the thing, guys. At the end of the second meeting, if that guy is doing a great job, they should what? What should they do if we go through the whole second meeting, the whole disclosure meeting, and their guy has everything done perfectly? What should they do? I want to see everybody answer this one. What should they do? They should stay, Dale says. Yes, they should stay. Stay with exactly, Fred. So they should stay with their guy. We're not here to move people that have great advisors. We're here to move people that have advisors that aren't doing their job. So we are okay with them saying, no, I don't unconditionally love him. I mean, I think he's doing a good job. I mean, so far, I think he's done a great job, but we don't unconditionally love him. If we found out he was doing things wrong or there was problems, no, we would leave him because, I got to take care of me and my family first. He comes second. Guys, they're explaining in their own mind. They're having this little movie go on in their head where they can see themselves leaving their guy under certain conditions. They can see themselves leaving that guy under certain conditions. And those conditions are that he's not loyal to them, that he hasn't been doing a good job for them, that he has his interest over their interest, that he has made big mistakes. See, they start to visualize that, yeah, I'll leave him if certain things happen. That starts them thinking about leaving their guy. I want them thinking about that now. I don't want them thinking they're going to stay with their guy until the very end where I show them all the stuff. Because if I go like I used to do, and like most advisors do, which is say, I'm going to give you a 3-second opinion, a free analysis, they don't envision they're leaving their guys ever. And when we get to the end of the meeting where we've shown them all of our solutions and all the things they've done wrong, they're still not thinking about leaving their guy. We think they should think about that. We're like, how can that guy possibly want to stay with their advisor? How can this couple possibly want to stay with their advisor when all these things are screwed up and my solutions are so much better? Why? Because they don't like hassle and they don't like confrontation. So the easiest thing is to take your information, go back to their guy. They just want their problems fixed. They don't want to leave their guy. They want their problems fixed. Our whole system is designed to have them realize their guy is the problem. It's not their situation that's the problem. It's not their investments that's the problem. It's not the fact that they don't know about things that are a problem. Their guy is the problem. And this is the beginning of the end. We have them start to realize that I don't unconditionally love my guy, and he'd better be doing things to make me loyal to him. Because if he's not doing things to be loyal to him, I'm going to leave. We need to have them seeing that in their mind's eye. This is the first way they see it. And then the next, we roll right into from this into fair versus unfair. We have them seeing that it'd be unfair to themselves to stay with their guy if he's missing not little things but big things. Then it'd be unfair to themselves. Not unfair to me, is not unfair to their current advisor, but unfair to themselves and their family to stay with their guy. And then we go roll into the little secret close to say, hey, so you just told me that you don't unconditionally love your guy. Hey, you just told me it'd be unfair to take my information back to the other guy. Well, guess what? I don't need any more practice. I don't do this for fun. I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. And based on what you just told me, you're going to become a client of mine. Now, we do it much nicer than that, but that's basically what we're saying. We're saying, listen, were you telling me the truth over the last 10 minutes? Will you leave your guy if these things are wrong? Because I'm telling you, I'm going to find huge things wrong. I've already found huge things that are wrong. And if that's the case, you've told me you're going to move. Yes or no? And again, what we said is half of them will say no, and half of them will say yes. But this is how we start that momentum and getting them to think about leaving their guy. And again, we do it much nicer in the script than what I just went over there. I'm just giving you the brass tacks of the message that we're delivering to them. But we do it much nicer than that. But it still is effective in getting them to to realize that they're, and more importantly, us to realize they're either going to leave the guy or not leave the guy. So guys, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why am I spending time, the last 10 minutes of the meeting, getting them to see in their mind's eye whether they're going to leave their guy or not? I haven't even, so we don't waste time, exactly, Dale. So we don't waste time. And not only waste time, Dale, but waste what? What, guys? Not only waste time, but waste what? And I think time is very important because we never get back that. We can't buy it. Can't buy time. But there's something that I feel is even more important than that. So we don't waste what? It's a little new agey, but what don't I want to waste? Yes, Dale Durick. My positive energy. I only wake up every morning with so much positive energy, and as both Dale say, and so much time. So I don't want to waste either time or my energy, because when my energy is gone or my time is gone, I have no more to give to other people, people who would be more likely to become my clients. I want to invest all that time and all that energy into people who have looked at, in their mind's eye, leaving their advisor. They didn't throw up. They're reasonable people. They're saying, I'm staying with my guy if he's doing a job, but I'm leaving him if he's not. Those are the people I want to invest all my time in, okay? So first part, we're going to tell them their advisor's doing his job, but then we're going to go, what if he's not? Why, and why would you leave him? So this is the first part that, of the end part of the agreement meeting that I want you to memorize. Okay? So in the agreement meeting, the important scripts are the first part, which is the agreement meeting. I'm sorry, the setting the tone, the first 10 minutes, or really it's the first 5 minutes. And then I would like you to memorize the loyalty versus unconditional love, and then the fair versus unfair, and the little secret. If you do those things, and it should take you about a week to memorize those things, if you do those things, you're going to find unbelievable success in all your future meetings after this, because you've set the tone. You've actually made the sale at this meeting. Do you get it? You've made the sale at this meeting. Why would you want to make your sale at this first meeting? Why is it so important to make your sale at this meeting instead of waiting to try to make your sale when you've shown them all your stuff? Why do you want to make your sale at this meeting? Do you want to make your sale at the highest tension point, the highest stress point, or when the stress point is the lowest? So some answers to that. Do you want to make your sale at the highest stress point or at the lowest stress point? The lowest, Bud says. Exactly, the lowest. So right now at the end of the first meeting, do I have any real time invested in this? Time, effort, or ideas invested in this? No. Do they have, am I asking them to sign on the dotted line here where they're going to, they have to make a change? No. So you're right, Andy. It's before I invest all my time and effort. So I don't have anything on the line really at this point, and neither do they except their word. But it's a lot easier to give their word, to have their word on the line, than it is to be saying, okay, now I need you to sign on this dotted line. I want to make the sale so that when we get to the point of signing on the dotted line, it's not a stressful thing. It's a foregone conclusion that they're going to sign. So do you get that? So that's why I want the sale done at the first meeting, because I don't have anything vested. They have nothing vested. So now we can talk like reasonable human beings. And are most people reasonable? Absolutely. Most of the people we meet with are reasonable. So that's why I want to have it. But can reasonable people, guys, let me ask you a question. Can reasonable people become unreasonable in stressful situations? Can reasonable people become yes, exactly. So I want to have this discussion of will they leave their guy when there's low stress for them and low stress for me, when there's nothing at risk for either one of us, so we can have a reasonable discussion. But why do you think I go through spend 10 minutes doing this, going over and over and over with this, with the loyalty versus unconditional love and the fair versus unfair and the little secret close? Why do you think I spend 10 minutes doing it? Because couldn't I just ask that really in one question? Why do I spend 10 minutes doing it instead of just asking the same thing? I could get the same answer with one question. It's because, let's see, we got an answer here. Good, let me see, Dale. They don't like to put it in a corner? Absolutely. But the reason I spend 10 minutes on this is because we're being reasonable, but I want them to remember this conversation. I want them to internalize this conversation. So it has to be 10 minutes long. It's the difference between for me to tell my kid, I mean, it's summer vacation now, right? So I tell my teenage son, clean your room today. If I say clean your room today, what's the likelihood that his room's going to be clean when I get home? Not high. But if I spend 10 minutes walking through, what are you going to do today? What's going to be part of that? Why do you need to clean your room? What would happen if you didn't clean your room? What's cleaning your room an indication of? I go through, spend 10 minutes on that. What is much more likely to happen when I get home? It's more likely to be clean because they can. He'll get the point I'm making, and he won't just slough it off. And I agree with what Dale's saying here, and Andy both saying that you want them to tell you and the examples they can relate to. So yes, there are things that they can relate to in real life and say, yeah, that's the way it works in real life. That's the way I should be conducting myself during this particular part of my life as well with my advisor. Okay? So this is a really important script for you to learn. You get the importance of it. It's getting them to budge off of, hey, my guy walks on water. Hey, there's nothing my guy could do that would make me leave him. Hey, I'm comfortable with where I'm at. It gets them to budge off of that thought process and start to think, well, I think my guy's doing a good job, but if he's not, I'm going to leave him. Because our whole second meeting is about having them discover that their guy is not doing his job. So we want to have this discussion before we have them discover that rather than after. Because if we do it after, it's just so much more work. So Jeff and I have talked about this before. When you have if you don't do these things, it doesn't mean you're going to lose the deal. If you don't do these things, it doesn't mean you're going to lose the deal. It just means the deal is going to be what? A lot harder to get. It's going to be harder. Yeah, exactly right, Dale. It's going to be harder. I want them sold at the first meeting, because if I have to sell them at the second meeting, it means I have to do a lot of work at that second meeting. I have to have them discovering what's wrong. I have to have them then pinning it on their advisor. Then I have to have them discovering that, well, even if my guy's doing this, I have to. There's way more things decisions they have to make if I don't get this done at the first meeting. If you don't do this, you will start selling. Well, Dale, you're hit at Dale right on the head. If you don't do it this way, you're going to start selling product and start to tell them why they need to move to you and how much better you are and how great your ideas are. That's just not neutral. That actually moves you backwards when you're doing that, because then you've identified yourself as a salesperson. So at the first meeting, I haven't given them any of my ideas. I haven't told them any things that I could do. I haven't even told them they have anything wrong. I said, for all I know, your guy's doing a great job. But let's talk theoretically. If this happens, what are you going to do? Okay? So that's the purpose of the fair versus unfair. Any questions on this or concerns or comments? Or not fair versus unfair, I'm sorry. The loyalty versus unconditional love portion. Super. So then that's what I wanted to cover today. Any questions, concerns before I let you guys all go? Awesome. Well, then I appreciate you all being on the call, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. And again, this is a script that you guys really need to work on and put to work, okay? Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.